the alley-oops at Kezar to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from offseason to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
Whoa, TCC, what's up? What's up, Cutback Crew? How we doing? Hey, y'all. Didn't get to see you yesterday. How y'all been? Everyone good? Hopefully good. Hopefully fine. Hopefully feeling great. Wow, it's a lot of people already. I mean, we're already there. Before we even do anything crazy, let's just put the poll up. Will the 49ers, will they trade Deebo Samuel? Huh? Let's let you already vote on it, TCC. Let's let you vote on it, huh? Let's find out on this. Look, Sunday night cutback chats. We're going to start doing this. I'm going to start doing this anyway Sunday nights. At least for the foreseeable future. Sunday nights, I think I'm going to hop on from now on with y'all and do some cutback chats with you and just talk about things 49ers, talk about things from my perspective. Ant's going to be doing these also once a week as well with all of you. So you're going to get a little bit of Ant, a little bit of me on some individual basis talking 49ers football and anything else you guys want to talk about throughout the week. So expect these Sunday nights from now on, right around this time, the 8:30, 8:45 range. And oh boy almighty, my OBS is doing fun stuff. It's doing fun stuff. Oh no. Oh no, it's struggling. It's struggle bus and it's back now. Okay, unstable as all can be. My apologies, TCC. Anyway, Ant and I will be doing these with you guys weekly, once a week each of us will. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about the possibilities that brings to the table and what we're gonna be able to talk about and just being able to interact with you on a one-on-one basis. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. If you're excited for that, hit the like button right now. Hit the subscribe button as well if you haven't already. If you're on Twitter, give us a follow. If you're catching this somewhere else, just handle your business, take care of your business, help support the channel any way you can, and let's dive into some topics of conversation because there are plenty of topics of conversation, tons of topics of conversation. I know you guys have seen it. I know the reports came out, or some people came out and said Deebo Samuel not with San Francisco. They're going to trade him. The Niners are going to do it. They're going to pull the trigger on this and absolutely trade this man, which is just crazy. Crazy to hear that. Now, here's what I will tell you. After having done some research as to where this was coming from, the account that it seems to have originated from seems to be a troll account on Twitter. It's a person who's been putting out a lot of conspiratorial, nonsensical, can't back any of it type claims. So I don't know how much credibility it has. I don't know how much of anything it has. I think it's a bunch of malarkey nonsense. I think a lot of people have been running with this and pushing this before this report came out. It feels like at this point in time, everyone has kind of blown their load in terms of things to talk about with the San Francisco 49ers. And now it's just nonsense. And JL is there who made up that rumor. I don't want to put the name out there because I don't want to give any credence to the guy. But let's just put it this way. It's an account that doesn't have any sort of affiliation with anybody, but kind of claims that he's in NFL circles and involved in NFL circles. It's really not hard to find it. If you really scour Twitter and look at a couple different places. Harold says heard it came from a Jets account. It could have come from a Jets account. But look, I think a lot of people are making up about a lot of nonsense. But here's the good news, right? So the account that I saw it originating from the report doesn't seem to be an accurate account. Doesn't seem to be a truthful account. So the basis of there being any reasonable suspicion that anyone in the front office is interested in trading Deebo Samuel is just nonsense. Number one. And Coach Ant, it came from SI. So someone at SI apparently, and one of the other accounts I saw too, Ant, the guy wasn't affiliated with SI. They said he was affiliated with some sort of NFL Writers Association or something like that. It was very vague. And he linked to an account that doesn't exist. Like if you click on it, the account no longer exists. Is the one that I originally saw it from. And Porto says, "Oh my God, SI is a joke." So there's that. There's that. I mean, look, at the end of the day, these traditional media sources, a lot of them are just trying to find things to talk about because the Niners aren't making big moves, right? They're not signing big names. They're not doing anything crazy like that. They're not bringing in a lot of different people and you know, I guess splash moves. And so a lot of people are hoping for splash moves, hoping for more things to talk about. And it's not there. So now you have this Deebo rumor circulating and spinning out here into the ether in terms of, you know, is it true? Is it not? Is it accurate? Is it not? You know, what were the Niners doing? Why would they do something like this? And Camper Report just said it, you can't replace Deebo in this draft. Maybe if there was an elite game changer in this draft, but there's not a Kyle Pitts or a CeeDee Lamb. Not just that, even at that, Kyle Pitts, CeeDee Lamb aren't Deebo. They're not Deebo Samuel. And Ant tweeted this out earlier today. He said there is no amount of draft picks. There is no guy that you can go get that does anything close to what Deebo Samuel does. That guy just doesn't exist. Deebo is one of a kind. You're not going to deal this guy for 2 first-round picks. You're not going to deal this guy for 3 first-round picks. This is generational type talent that does something very specific in your offense that you can't just grab and plug and play any name brand guy. I've seen people going so far as to say Ray McLeod is a wide back. You know, he can do the Deebo Samuel role. No, not the same way that Deebo. Not with the physicality that Deebo does it. So the likelihood of Deebo being traded, not only is it not likely, it's just not happening. The Niners aren't doing this. It's not. We have more of a chance of Kyle Shanahan trading for Aaron Rodgers than trading away Deebo Samuel at this point. It's never going to be the case. And it's funny because a lot of the same people who have been clamoring for Deebo to be traded and saying, you know, hey, we need to exhaust all options, especially with how hot the wide receiver market is. These same people are shocked that Deebo would even be offered up in a trade. This is just being stirred up to have a conversation, something to talk about. Because most people feel like there, I guess, apparently isn't enough to be talking about already. If there are more rumors coming out about Deebo being traded this week from credible sources, then there's something going on. But this makeup rumor about the Jets, I don't want to waste my time. Maybe, even if there are credible sources that come out and say anything, I'm sorry, I don't believe it. Listen, the 49ers didn't come out last year with the whole trade scenario, with all the rumors speculating about Mac Jones. The Niners never came out and said a gosh darn word. They are totally fine. They are totally fine with letting the media put their foot in their mouth. Like, they're good with it. They're fine with the media and all these people coming out and claiming whatever it is that they want to claim and making fools of themselves. They're all right with that. And I don't blame them. I would want the media to just go say whatever they want and whatever they feel like saying, because they're not involved. They're not within the front office. They don't necessarily have great connections and great sources. The Niners front office doesn't leak. The only bit of information that's going to get out there is what the San Francisco 49ers want out there. This is just not going to happen. It's not something that is possible. It's not something that the Niners are considering. I don't think there's any part of them that's actually sitting there and listening and fielding trade offers, sitting there going, we're going to really do this. This makes sense. No, there is no part of them that is considering this being something or an option for the San Francisco 49ers. You want Trey to have weapons. You want Trey to be a dynamic threat. One of the easiest ways for Trey Lance to be a dynamic threat in this offense and with this offense is having a guy like Deebo Samuel who can motion into the backfield, who can catch screens, who can operate over the middle of the field, can take short passes and turn them into big gains. It makes Trey Lance that much more of a dynamic threat because you can get him easy passes early in games to get him in rhythm, get his confidence up, that lead to big plays, lead to chunk plays. And then from there, let the kid loose and let him sling it. I mean, that is possible. But, I mean, again, it's just silly. The Niners aren't doing that. And I saw Sid Jaley say now 4 first-round picks which include 2 in this year's draft. I still say no, personally. I personally say no. Just because you can't replace Deebo. You can't do it. And it's saying it came from Jose Sanchez SI. That is one of the guys that reported it. I saw that. And there was another account also about an hour before Jose Sanchez put that out that came out and put this on Twitter. I'll have to try and find the actual source and the actual guy. But it's a gentleman on the East Coast from what I remember. Let's see here. Debo is half the franchise. That he is. Tribe, we've already slipped behind Arizona. If they trade Debo, pencil us in for last place behind Seattle. This is not the Tyreek Hill issue in KC. Well, I mean, some people think that it would be the case. It's similar. Some people think that. Why are we talking about fake news, Keenan Craig? We're talking about fake news because there's some people who believe it. There are people that believe it. I mean, I don't know if you know this. I mean, if you look at the poll, there's 7% that say the Niners should. I mean, there's people that believe that we should trade Deebo Samuel right now. Trade him, get all that draft capital, and go get more weapons. We're not talking about it. We're not talking about it. We're talking about why it exists. Tanu, why the rumors out there? Why people think this? And look, at the end of the day, I think the reason why people think this is they think the Niners aren't all in. Part of the reason this is out there right now is because there are people who believe because San Francisco hasn't made moves that the Niners aren't all in on Trey Lance. And if you're not all in on Trey Lance, then let's just rebuild. Right? I mean, there were people that said this last year, I'd rather lose with Trey Lance than win with Jimmy Garoppolo. There are people who just believe if this isn't the time and this team isn't good, then this is just sell it right now. Let's sell it. Let's not pay this guy a bunch of money. Let's try and rebuild this team around Trey better. Maybe we can find some better weapons for him, some better deep threats, things like that. There are people who believe that. There are people that are pushing that and promulgating that into space, and it's confusing, a little concerning. Are they even fans? They're fans. They just have a different view of the situation. They obviously feel that the team isn't as close to winning a Super Bowl. There's that. There really is. Are we losing Debo, says Jonathan? No, we're not losing Debo. The Niners aren't going to be doing this. They're not trading them. Fable says I'd trade Kittle, but not Debo. I wouldn't trade either. You're not going to find a tight end that does the things that George Kittle does. As a pass-catching option, as a blocking option, it just doesn't make any sense. Trading two of your better weapons right now, this early into a life cycle and a franchise and what you're hoping and thinking is the Super Bowl window, it's a bit early. It's a bit early. Right? I mean, the Tyreek Hill one is shocking. It was 100% shocking. But the Tyreek Hill trade made semi-sense because you paid your quarterback $500 million over 10 years. So you're getting to a point, right, where you can't pay everybody. You just can't do it. So I mean, the Tyreek Hill one makes a semblance of sense. When you have $500 million tied up in your quarterback over the next 10 years, you're going to lose some things in other places. And the reason you're paying Patrick Mahomes $500 million is because you think you can supplement the other pieces and that Pat Mahomes is good enough to do it with lesser weapons. Right? That's what they're doing. I mean, the Patriots did something similar, except the only difference was they weren't paying Tom Brady obscene amounts of money. Tom Brady was taking team-friendly deals so that they could build the defense and the O-line and other weapons around him. And so that way he could be great with, mediocre weapons and talent. And then he finally got sick of it and wanted an upgrade, he didn't want to have to carry the franchise on his back. Right? I mean, this is what happens. I mean, Green Bay is in the same boat. You do the same thing with Devontae Adams, paying your quarterback a lot of money. This is why the Niners are moving off of Jimmy Garoppolo. It isn't so that they can go ahead and trade their best players. They're moving off of Jimmy Garoppolo so they can pay their best players. Right? They can pay these guys obscene amounts of money, obscene contracts, keep them around Trey during this window and during this time. And if Trey turns into the guy you think he is, then, when the time comes, okay, you're rolling with your franchise quarterback and you're going to lose some things at the other spot. But by that point, Trey's had 4 or 5 years, maybe a Super Bowl or two. I mean, his confidence is sky high. He knows how to win, right? So you don't have to worry about it now. And then you can, that's when, you're talking 3-4 years down the road is when you start seeing maybe guys who would be considered cornerstone pieces of the franchise, where the Niners are having to pick and choose between paying their quarterback and paying the cornerstone piece. That's the situation we're looking at. That's 4 years from now, though. That's not right now. It's not even close. Chiefs also got Juju and Scantling. They did. But Juju and Scantling together are not Tyreek Hill, not Devontae Adams camper. They're nowhere close to being any of that. Deebo is expensive. He may high risk to be injured. We aren't winning a Super Bowl next year with the first-year quarterback. Says it's reality. You might not. You might not. Maybe you get to a Super Bowl in his first year. That's possible. Getting to a Super Bowl in his first year is 100% possible. So look, I'm not willing to count anything out with Trey Lance at the quarterback position. I'm not willing to count anything out with this team and how they're trying to build it. I will count out Deebo being traded. There is no world Deebo is being traded unless you have a team throwing like 10 years of future first round picks. And that's just not going to happen. So we don't have to worry about it. Trent never said that. Chad Johnson would be a waste to trade Deebo now, says Bomber T. I like that. What if the injury bug continues to follow Kittle? Are we getting what we are paying for? That's why I'd consider trading Kittle, says Fable. Well, it depends, right? When you say injury bug, the last handful of seasons, Deebo has just missed, 2 to 3 games a season? You can live with that. 2 to 3 games a season and him almost having 1,000 yards not playing. I mean, he was 50 yards away this season from 1,000-yard season, having missed 3 games. That's cake. You can handle that. You can find a way around that. The solution to that isn't necessarily to trade George Kittle so much as it is to improve your tight end room, so that way, whatever those games are that he's missing in the middle of the season or at the beginning of the season, whenever they may be, you're not hemorrhaging at the tight end position. You haven't completely lost a blocking option. You haven't lost the ability to attack the middle of the field and attack mismatches with linebackers and safeties with your tight end room. The solution isn't to trade George. It's to, upgrade the room around George. And the nice thing about being on a rookie pay scale with your quarterback is that, now you have what you're supposed to have anyway, the capital to be able to do that. So far, the Niners haven't had a chance to. So we'll see. Anyone see Will Smith slap Chris Rock? No, I didn't watch any of that. I'm not watching it. Rodgers makes $50 million a year. Watson 46. Dak makes $40 million a year. Even if we keep Jimmy G, he's cheap and worth being a backup next year. Possibly SL million. Possibly. I had this conversation the other day with someone on Twitter who was talking about, it was on one of the Facebook groups. They listed, 6 horrible things that Kyle Shanahan had done. And one of them, I think number 5 on that list, was paying Jimmy Garoppolo that contract. And it's like, I think people forget, $25 million is a lot for us. It's a lot for us right now because it was $100 million contract, that extension that he signed. It's 25 is a lot right now, but 25 is peanuts. It's not even in the top 12 of quarterback contracts in the league. It's 13th. We're talking about paying a guy that everyone believes is I can't say everyone. I can't say everyone because there are people who think he's literally the worst quarterback in the history of football. But we're paying a guy who statistically and just based on everything that we know about him has a couple of elite characteristics and a lot of holes and a lot of issues and problems. But we're talking about a guy who's consistently right in the middle of the pack in the NFL, making consistently right now, right in the middle of the pack NFL quarterback money. We're definitely not overpaying this. We're not overpaying him, but SL million, you might be right. You might be able to keep him around as a backup. I don't know if that's what you're trying to do. I don't think you want that. I think you'd prefer to just move off that. That's why you guaranteed Nate Sudfeld $2 million. You want to be able to just roll with Trey without that, not liability, but without Jimmy Garoppolo and the issue that is this whole room and his situation and, that lingering over the locker room. Not only that, but if you're Jimmy Garoppolo, do you want to be here behind Trey Lance? Is that what you want? Why not just sit out? Just sit out a year and then go next year. Why would he be like, let me sit behind this kid? I don't think he's gonna want to do that personally. But it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Wouldn't be surprised if we draft the tight end late in the draft, says Camper. I think we could. I think we should. Get a meme ready for that Will Smith Chris Rock slap. That's funny. Grant Cohn 2 days ago had a video titled "Trent wants to play for a contender. Maybe it was a lie." Talking about Trent Williams. Well, Trent Williams does want to play for a contender. That's why he's in San Francisco. Would you give Deebo 17 and 19 million, put in a bunch of incentives to get it higher? Plus, Deebo hasn't strung 3 to 4 years together, in my opinion. I don't think Deebo is going to take 17 to 19 million. I think if you're the Niners, you would love it to be that. But unfortunately, with the season that he just had, and everything that just went down in terms of what Devontae Adams just got paid and a couple other guys, Deebo was a top 5 receiving yard wide receiver in the NFL this past year, on top of the 500 plus yards rushing. This was a 2,000 yard all purpose season for Deebo Samuel. 2,000 plus. Easily. He has leverage for 30 to 32 million. I mean, he's got that kind of leverage, but I would say he's probably going to be settling in around 25. That's closer to where that number is going to be, about 25 million. And if you're the Niners, I mean, right, you haven't made the move off of Jimmy. If you're able to make that move off of Jimmy closer towards drafts, OTAs, things of that nature, somewhere in there, maybe even training camp. That's usually when the Niners re-sign their guys anyway, right? That's usually when they do their contract extensions with these cornerstone piece members of the organization. Maybe you take some of that money once you figure it out, right? Once you free it up, you take some of that money guaranteed this year and you put it into Deebo's contract and you front load that contract a little, right? You add in an additional 10 million or so and, throw his number high this year, bring it a little bit lower, keep it about the same the next year, and then backload the contract. Possible. So, we're going to see how the Niners plan to address this situation. But I find it funny that, this always seems to happen. People talk about that every year now, it feels like the last handful of seasons, this has happened with extensions and player extensions and guys that are, important cornerstone pieces of the franchise getting into offseason draft time, things of that nature. We need to sign him. We can't extend him. We're not going to be able to extend him. They haven't gotten it done yet. They haven't gotten it done yet because they don't want to keep this guy. They don't want to sign him. We shouldn't pay him the money. We should pay him the money. We're not going to pay him the money. And then, nonsense comes out about trading guys, or maybe it's time to trade him or look into his value. I mean, this happens every year. It happened with Kittle. It happened with Fred Warner. Not to the same extent in terms of like someone coming out and saying, hey, it's going to happen. They're looking to trade him for a couple of ones. Not to that extent, but that's what happens. Just like every free agent gets linked to San Francisco and the 49ers, all of our cornerstone pieces, all of the faces of the franchise get linked to trading or us not being able to afford guys. It's crazy. It's crazy that we can't afford anybody, ever. Even when we do afford guys, we shouldn't have done it. I hear that all the time. Christian Kirk made bank doing almost nothing. Deebo looking to the moon. You're not wrong, JLE. The gosh dang Jacksonville Jaguars, man. I swear, those guys just, they just kill me. They kill me with the overpays. Not fun. Why not take advantage of a rookie quarterback wage by signing the best free agents available? Makes no sense to me to not take advantage of this window. I agreed with you, Fable. I agree with you on that. I think the Niners were hoping to move Jimmy and didn't get a chance to, and so because you didn't, you're just looking to shore up the 53, and you're looking to shore up the 90-man roster going into OTAs and training camp. Want the good news, Fable? The good news is you don't have to worry about Jimmy next year, right? Next year, no Jimmy. No Jimmy next year means more money. More money plus a salary cap going up means all in with Trey Lance in 2023. That's the good news. You're most likely going to see it next season. I wish it was this year. God, I wish it was this year. You wouldn't want to pay him that much as a backup if they had Trey has a bad season. Ride that out, say, hey, put Jimmy in, he's healthy. I don't know. If Trey starts, I don't think there's any way you move off of Trey. You're just going to ride with the ups and downs. I don't think you're going to have a short leash on Trey Lance. Like Jimmy Garoppolo would have a short leash if he was the starting quarterback this year, because you have the kids sitting there waiting in the wings, and you don't want to have a similar kind of season and start that you had this year. But that would be if Jimmy starts, and that's if Jimmy's still in San Francisco, and that's if the Niners don't decide to trade him or cut him or whatever it is they're deciding to do with it. Fable, they can't restructure him. They'd have to give him a contract extension. They'd have to extend him for like a year and void out that last year. And that would be dead money in 2023. I don't see the Niners doing that. Jimmy also has to agree to it. I don't see him doing that either. I don't. He wants to start. And if the Niners are like, hey, Jimmy, you're not going to start, he ain't going to take a backup job. Not here anyway. He won't do that here. We sucked before Jimmy, lol. That's the good news. It's reality. We were not good before Jimmy got here. That is not wrong. Nothing about that statement is inaccurate. Juanito, Deebo wants to be cashed out. Inflation in tax California is not in the Niners' favor. I don't know how the heck the Rams are getting away with the moves that they're doing. I don't know. I don't know either. I wish I knew. Juanito, how they restructure what it is. But at the end of the day, I think the reality is that you have a Rams owner that wants to win as many as possible. They moved from St. Louis to Los Angeles. There's not an established fan base of Rams fans in LA. I mean, we see what happens. Rams fans don't show up for Rams games at their own stadium at SoFi, right? They don't do it. You have away team fans that are eating up their stadium. San Francisco makes it Levi South every time. So the Rams are trying to ingratiate themselves in LA. And that means putting the best team together that you can. And that also means that you don't have the time to develop guys. You don't have the time to coach the guys up and wait a couple of years. You got to do it now. And the best way to do it now is to go get veteran talent that fits your system. Does the things you need them to do. They tried the developing route, right? They tried it. Todd Gurley, Jared Goff, Tremaine Johnson. They tried the development route. And it worked pretty well, but it didn't get them a Super Bowl. So they shifted gears. They shifted gears and went all in. They're going to buy themselves a team. And they bought themselves a Super Bowl last year, and they're going to try and buy themselves one this year. Luckily for them, the NFC sucks now. Right? It's terrible. It's hot garbage. So now it's that. Now they got that. With the experts saying the salary cap is going to start exploding after next season due to the new TV deals, they'll have plenty for Deebo and Bosa, says David M. And you're not wrong, David. And it is. It is going to explode. The everything that has happened post-COVID has been crazy. They don't want to cut Jimmy and lose $8 million. That money could be used in multiple ways. Agreed, Coach. Agreed, Ant. Like 100%, Ant. They're not going to do it. If they were to do it, it would be later after he's passed a physical. But I don't think even then. I don't think even then they want to. I don't think they want to. I just don't see that being the case. If you were just going to cut Jimmy Garoppolo, there was no reason to even go into this last season with him. I just roll with Trey then. The whole purpose of Jimmy playing was because you thought he gave you the best chance and you thought it could elevate his trade value, and you got to an NFC Championship game. You're just waiting for him to get healthy at this point. Same thing with the Steelers. It's not that Trubisky is better than Jimmy. He's better value at the price. Probably that, Eric. Price is a big thing, man. Teams don't want to have to overpay. And they understand that Jimmy is worth at least what probably, I would imagine teams feel like Jimmy is worth what San Francisco is asking. They just don't want to pay him $25 million, right? They would rather be paying him like 18 with escalators up to, 30 or something. They'd rather do that than give him this much guaranteed money with injury problems and injury history and availability not always there. It's interesting. Jimmy's like a bag of knockoff Honey-O's, but he's being sold at the price of Honey Nut Cheerios. Interesting. Hey, but did you know that Honey-O's are made in the same exact factory as the Honey Nut Cheerios? They are Honey Nut Cheerios. They're Honey Nut Cheerios. Just in a different box. I don't know if you knew that or not. That's actually real, Cutback Crew. Like the knockoff cereal, it's made at the same plant as the actual name brand. It's the same. It's the same. There's no difference. Deebo and every other wide receiver must have popped a cork most when they heard about the Kirk contract. I mean, I would have been celebrating, man. Let's go to the club. Give me some champagne. Give me the VIP room. Let's have a ball. Let's have a ball here. Thank you, Jacksonville and Christian Kirk. I'm getting paid. I'm getting cashed out. Everyone's getting the bag. I cannot believe Christian Kirk got that contract. Cannot believe. Just can't wrap my head around it. I wouldn't pay him $15 million, says Jay Ellie. Sure. Baker Mayfield's making 18. You sure? Wouldn't pay him 15? I'd pay him 15. 15's cheap for a quarterback, man. Jimmy is a discount when you look at other playoff quarterbacks. 2 full years he played at least an NFC Championship game appearances, Juanito. Yeah. What can you get for Deebo Samuel? I mean, I don't care. Boy, in all honesty, I don't care, my guy. I don't care. I don't care what we can get for Deebo Samuel. I don't want to trade him. I would never do that. Wouldn't do it. Bad example. He's a Kia being sold at Corvette price. There we go. All right, Eric. I like that. He's a Kia being sold at a Corvette price. That's better. If an NFL team loses their starting quarterback in OTA training camp, now the 49ers can move Jimmy G for a first. Maybe Niners sickness. Depends on the team. I think the worst case scenario for 49ers fans is you go into next season. Trey Lance is the starting quarterback. Jimmy G is the backup quarterback if that somehow were to happen. And you're holding on to Jimmy until the trade deadline and waiting to see if someone gets hurt. Because if someone gets hurt, then you have all the trade leverage. Here you go. Here he is. This is your guy that can come in and save your season. And if you don't, if that doesn't happen, then you're rolling with a $25 million backup quarterback. That could happen. Oh my gosh. We've come this far. I can't believe we've come this far. Ant, do you remember a few weeks ago when you and I were sitting off air talking about this whole situation? And I remember I think I brought it up to you and said, like, is there really a chance the Niners could hold on to him all the way? And you're like, there's no way that could happen. We're like at that point now. We're at that point where it's slowly every day it becomes more and more of a possibility that Jimmy Garoppolo could be on the roster, $25 million as a backup quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that? That is crazy. That is crazy. When they drafted Trey Lance last year, if someone had said, Alex, there's a 50-50 shot that could be the case, I'd be like, you're crazy. There's no way. He's either starting or he's gone. He couldn't be the backup. He could be. Could be the backup quarterback. That is just nuts. I can't even physically wrap my head around that. It's insane. That is insane. Holy cow. All right, well, the other thing I guess we should talk about. They trade Deebo. They have no offense, says John Doe. John Doe, that's no way that's your name, man. There's no way. There's no way. I don't believe it for a second. But the other thing we need to talk about is trade troubles. A gentleman from SI, and not me. Nope, not me. Never in a million years. Another gentleman from SI and a couple other sites are claiming they have an article coming out. They have an article coming out that Trey Lance isn't as good as everyone thinks he's going to be, and they have the film to prove it. And it's supposed to drop tomorrow. So I'm interested to see this article that's going to come out and what nonsense it's going to put out there, because he's claiming he has the evidence. He has the proof. The answers to everyone's questions. Is Trey ready or not? He has it, and he's posting it tomorrow. I am looking forward to it. I want to see it because I want to know what that man sees on film that Ant or myself have not seen. There is no part of me that believes anyone can know anything about whether or not Trey is ready or not. My favorite is the people talking about Trey. Trey put in that working on his footwork, getting better, and it's videos of him working on agility and warm-ups. And he's working on explosivity. He's working on monster walks, lateral walks. He's working on glute and core strength. It's like him doing agility drills and butt strengthening exercises. They're like, ooh, working on that footwork. It's like, no. It's he's making sure his glute and core strength is at peak optimal performance, so he doesn't have a lower leg injury. That's what he's working on. This is, and by agility drills, I don't mean like working on him being more agile, but like warm up stuff leading into workouts. It's things you do at the start. He's warming up the muscles. Pre-workout. Never mind. College boy here has to stop. I see videos of guys doing agility, core, glute strength exercises, pre-workout. It's early in the morning. It's very obvious that's what they're leading into and what they're doing. And I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, nice, man. I know about all that stuff. Yeah, I do that stuff. I'm not an athlete, but I do that stuff. And then people are like, oh, yeah, look at him working on his footwork. No, he's just strengthening that butt. He's just strengthening that butt. That's all he's doing. That's all he's making that booty strong. Super strong. Strong as he possibly can. Good on Trey Lance for that, by the way. Good on Trey Lance. I'm also happy to see, quarterbacks and wideouts and other guys doing things to keep that lower half in check. That's important. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see this. Yeah, I clickbait the F out of that. I think that's what he's doing. I have the answers. I know Trey's not ready, and I'm going to prove it. There's no way he can. There's no way he can prove it. There's not enough out there in the ether. And the best part is there were some people who were SI staff members who saw this come out and came out and were like, well, no, he showed some promise. He showed some promise. Showed some promise. There was a lot of people who were ride or die Trey Lance and said, the Niners should have started Trey Lance. He would have been in the same boat if he had started Trey Lance over Jimmy G. And a lot of those people now, after that tweet came out and a couple other things have come out about Trey and his preparedness or not, are backpedaling heavy backpedaling. And I don't understand why. And this is coming from a guy who said Trey Lance needs 2 years. That's coming from this guy. I'm not even willing to sit here and say that Trey's not going to be ready next year. I saw a lot of improvement from him. I saw the incredible deep throw, the deep ball throw, everything he does, the touch he has on his deep throws as well. I saw all the potential and promise. I see the athleticism. I understand that he's a guy who can, power run the football and is agile enough to get on the edge at times. He's definitely a guy who can break tackles in the pocket and extend plays. I'm not even going to sit here and go, yeah, Trey Lance, there's no way he could be ready next year. It's not possible. It's not possible. Can't do it. Just can't. 100% he can. There's no way to know one way or the other. It's not a guaranteed 1,000% yes or 1,000% no. It's a wait and see. Trey's going to put in the work. He's going to work on the things that he can work on. He's going to focus on the things he can control, right? Watching, studying film. Working on making certain types of reads against certain types of coverages and workouts and practices. He's working with Brandon Ayuk to build up a chemistry, right? Out there with him, working on routes, timing, things like that, working on his footwork, working on rhythm throws, tempo throws, his release, cleaning it up, shortening it a little bit. He's going to be working on all that stuff. And all those things are going to help him become a slightly better quarterback. And then he's going to be able to come in, hopefully, day one, start, make some mistakes. Hopefully not game-changing mistakes, not, point-stealing mistakes that take points off the board for the 49ers. But little mistakes, like missing a guy on 3rd and short, right? Not checking into the right run play on 2nd down and leaving himself a 3rd and long. Like maybe drive-ending play. I was talking to someone about this tonight. They were asking me, what do you think is going to happen with San Francisco next year if Trey starts? So I was like, he just needs to be Jimmy Garoppolo. That's it. That's all he needs to be. If he's just Jimmy Garoppolo next year, then the Niners can get back to the NFC Championship game. Why wouldn't they be able to? Jimmy got you there twice. If he's just Jimmy Garoppolo, you're getting back to the NFC Championship game. I have a really hard time believing that that's all he'll be able to do. It's really hard for me to sit here and go, that's all he'll do is just be. He's just Jimmy Garoppolo. There's no part of me that believes that. So if he just does what Jimmy Garoppolo did, then we're fine. There's no way to know one way or the other whether or not he's going to struggle heavily or succeed heavily. The people putting prop bets on him winning the MVP, I mean, that's crazy. That's like the other side, right? That's the other end of the spectrum. That's just nuts. Like just. If you're putting down like $10 or something and you're going to win 1,000, I get it. But if you're dropping like 10K on that, I mean, it must be nice to have that kind of money to just drop on a bet like that. Holy cow. Holy God. For real. My goodness gracious me. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's see here, Brad. Alex, did you just start this live stream to talk about Will Smith slappy? No, I don't watch the Oscars. I don't watch that. That's the Azorian ones thing. That's not my thing. Not my thing. Josh Allen is a good example of that. Okay. Look, Josh Allen developed a lot. There was a lot of people who didn't think he was going to turn into what he turned into. But he did. Cleaned up some things. Now, the difference is between Josh Allen. The difference between Josh Allen and Trey Lance was Josh Allen's issue was footwork. And I don't believe that's Trey's issue. I think Trey's issue is a little bit of the elongated release. I think it takes him a little bit longer to get that football out. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if he can just be Jimmy Garoppolo or slightly better and be able to take the top off the defense and take the deep shot occasionally, then, we're in his position that anything can happen. Niner Sickness Podcast. Bro, question for you. Who was the better quarterback, Joe Montana or Dan Marino? Better quarterback? I mean, you're talking like arm and talent and stuff like that, then it's Marino, but quarterback, I mean, I'm talking about, I want a guy who's going to win championships. So give me Joe Montana. Just give me Joe Montana. Give me Joe Montana all day long. All the talent in the world is great, but if you don't know how to translate that into winning football games that matter, I'm all right. I'm all right. I don't need it. I really don't need it. And learn from mistakes. It's hard to learn if you aren't playing. Practice helps, but game speed is game speed. Itchy. Yes and no. It's both. I have coached guys and played with guys who needed like the game because they couldn't take practice serious. And I've also known guys who you couldn't put them in a game. Like when they first got there, they weren't ready. No part of them was ready. No part of them was going to be ready in that moment. And putting them out there was just going to make it worse. And so they needed practice time and they needed time to develop. Like I've coached guys who the more they sat, learned, digested, focused in on their skills. We didn't overload them with reads and sets and plays and different things and focused on just fundamental skill sets and developing key things that they needed to have success on the field. I mean, the minute we did that, they got on the field and it was fine because they had watched so much of the game and we'd studied so much and put in so much time with film that situationally, you work on stuff in practice situationally. You start drilling that stuff and burning it into a guy's brain and their memory. And by the time they get to a point where the skill set catches up with where their head's at of their IQ and understanding of the game, everything just clicks. There are some guys though that have to go out there and make the mistakes also. I mean, there's always ways that everyone learns differently, right? Everyone processes differently. Everyone understands the game and sees the game differently. And some people need that. Some people need experience, right? Experience is what crafts learning and growth. Being able to actually physically go out there and make the mistake and learn. And then there's some guys who don't need that at all. They don't need experience. They don't need to physically do it themselves. They can mentally take the rep, process it, understand it, digest it, and then go out and execute. I was one of those guys. I didn't need game time. Like, I didn't have to play in order to develop and not make a mistake. I could watch someone do that and then be like, okay, cool. We're not going to do that. That situation right there, we won't put ourselves in this. Like A happened, then B happened, then C happened, and then this happened. So we're not going to do A, we're not going to do B, and we're not going to do C if we see this. That was easy for someone like me. And I played with guys and coached guys that were that way, and I played with guys and coached guys who needed to be out there on the floor. Like they couldn't do it in practice. They just physically couldn't. That happens sometimes. That's usually a concentration thing. That's usually it's an internal thing, right? It's a motivation thing. Practice doesn't motivate them that way. Games do. Let's see. Montana, because he had the it factor and elevated his teammates, says Juanito. True. Very true. I don't think Trey having an elongated release will have a huge effect on his play. If you put Trey's long release on Jimmy is not playing in the NFL, but Trey is not limited by Jimmy's flaws. Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes and no, because you also don't understand. I mean, Jimmy right now understands the game and reads defenses better than Trey does at the moment. So if Jimmy had an elongated release and he knows how long it takes for him to get the ball out, then he's just going to start his release a little bit earlier if he's able to pre-read and pre-diagnose. Right, that's the part of the thing that Trey can do to mitigate the elongated release, is start getting familiar with coverages and schemes and things of that nature. And maybe that's why he needs some playing time, is to be able to go out there and physically make the decisions, pre-diagnose and choose, and then learn off of those mistakes if he makes them. Possibly. We'll see. If Trey's completing 50% of his passes, but he's getting 12 yards per attempt, then he's averaging a first down every 2 passes. Yeah, unless Eric, he's like 2 for 15 early in the football game, and then a team decides to sag off because they're up so much. Right? They're up a crap ton of points on San Francisco, so then they're just playing soft coverage. And then the rest of the way, right, he throws at an insane clip because he's able to dink and dunk underneath or dink and dunk middle of the field. But at that point, it's too late. Stats don't always tell a story, right? Like a guy completing 50% of his balls doesn't always tell a story of how a game's playing out and how a guy is playing or what guys are doing. All right, it doesn't always tell the tale. It doesn't. So you have to be careful with stats because stats don't always show you the full picture. All right, a guy can complete 80% of his passes, but if in the first 3 quarters of the game he was completing 45% and was, throwing a couple of picks, then does it really matter if he finishes with, a 60 or 70% completion percentage? Does that really matter if he started off the game at 45? I don't know. Never Sickness, how much is too much for Debo? He asked Brad. Too much would be like 30, 35 plus, 32 plus. But I think the Niners are going to be able to get that contract in around 25, 26 with escalators to like 30, 32. Trey had all the highlight plays over all the other rookies in his draft class. How isn't he ready? Well, here's the thing, Bomber. You also got a limited scope, right, of Trey. You got a limited scope of Trey, right? There was a time and a moment last season as well where Mac Jones and the Patriots were rolling. People were like, man, yeah, holy crap, look how good Mac Jones was. The Niners made a mistake. Remember, like 6 weeks into the season, there was the narrative that the Niners screwed up and we should have drafted Mac Jones. Remember that? I remember that. And we're laughing about that. It was hilarious. Because it's like, all right, well, teams are going to start adjusting. Teams are just going to adjust to what he's doing and the strengths they're playing to. Teams don't know what to expect. Now they do. And they adjusted. And the Patriots struggled. And Mac Jones struggled. And then there was the game where he threw 2 passes. Now, granted, it was stupidly windy, but he still only threw 2 passes. Josh Allen didn't throw 2 passes. He threw a lot more than 2 passes. There's high moments and low moments for all those guys. Zach Wilson had some high moments as well. He's just on a really bad football team. Justin Fields, some high moments. For a really bad football team. Trevor Lawrence, some lows, some highs. Remember the Thursday night shootout with Joe Burrow early in the season? Where Trevor Lawrence was dealing, Joe Burrow was dealing, and it was a close game that Jacksonville lost? In Cincinnati? You guys remember that? There was high moments for all of those guys last year. They just played on really bad football teams also. So there was a lot more lows. Trey's not on a really bad football team. Trey doesn't have to do as much right now. There will come a time when Trey Lance has to do more. I'm just happy that time isn't right now. I'm glad that isn't the case. That we're not putting the weight of the world on this kid's shoulders early on. And that's why I think, too, that this article that this person is going to be writing and is supposed to be coming out tomorrow, is why I think there's going to be some of this it's not taking into account all the true factors that you have to deal with Trey Lance and you have to consider. He's not playing on a bad football. He's not. He's playing on a team that's got one of the best pass rushers in football, that's got one of the best middle linebackers in football, that's got one heck of a safety in Jimmy Ward, some fantastic, wonderful cornerback play now with Charvarius Ward and Emmanuel Mosley on the outside, a do-it-all guy in Deebo Samuel, a do-it-all guy in Kyle Juszczyk, a do-it-all guy in George Kittle, hopefully an elevation and a, to-the-moon explosion for Brandon Ayuk now in year 3, plus Elijah Mitchell. There's weapons everywhere. He doesn't have to do it himself. He didn't have to be perfect. He's just got to be better than the guy that was in front. And Jimmy Garoppolo, for all of his flaws, and him not being perfect, still set the bar pretty high. Because you can't just fall backwards into an NFC Championship game. You can't do that. You have to do something like the Niners were playing great defense and running the ball extremely well. They're running great. And as much as people say, that's not Jimmy. Jimmy's not doing that. That's the running game carrying him. Let's not forget that same running game doesn't exist when Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't been under center. Nick Mullins wasn't helping the run game get going. CJ Beathard wasn't helping the run game get going. The run game, for some reason, thrives when Jimmy Garoppolo is under center. It's almost like Jimmy Garoppolo is able to take advantage of defenses that try and load up against the 49ers box to stop the run. And then teams have to lay off, and the Niners are able to have success, and Jimmy checks them in and out of the right place. It's almost like Jimmy Garoppolo actually did some things really well for San Francisco. He doesn't check out of run plays that he should. He checks into the right runs when they're supposed to be in them. You can be upset with Jimmy and the limitations all you want, but at the end of the day, too, Jimmy does put the Niners' run game in good spots, in good situations. Did that a lot. A lot. I believe Trey can do that, too. He's smart enough to. I know that. He's highly intelligent. He made all of the line calls and audible calls at North Dakota State. So can he do that? Yeah, 100% he can. That's a huge thing. That's huge. That's massive. It doesn't get a whole lot bigger than that. Because if he's able to translate that into this offense and this system with Kyle Shanahan, then you're talking about a situation where a guy who doesn't have to throw the football, can just hand the ball off a bunch, is going to keep teams guessing and on their toes, because when they step up in those boxes and they step up to try and take away the big play and they leave a guy one-on-one, you already know Trey is not afraid to pull the trigger and just let it fly. And that's exciting. That is extremely exciting. And he is going to let it fly in a way that a lot of football fans and a lot of 49ers fans have not seen at the quarterback position. Because boy, oh boy, does he throw one hell of a deep ball. My good God almighty, does he throw one hell of a deep ball. Jimmy is and was a great leader. He knew the plays, and he also just understood his role. Jimmy didn't try and do more than what he was. Right? And I think that's the thing that frustrated people the most about him, is that he didn't try and do more. He didn't try and be more. He didn't try and be the guy who threw, 5 deep shots a game and let his guys go one-on-one. Jimmy was a guy who didn't put himself in positions to make mistakes and hurt the team. And sometimes that led him to make throws that he was comfortable making and risky throws over the middle of the field in triple coverage that sometimes fit into windows that had no business fitting into, and sometimes got deflected and then intercepted. It was frustrating because people were like, I'd rather him just take a shot deep. I'd rather do that. I would rather just take the 50-50 deep shot. That's got just as much of a chance as you throwing into triple coverage. Better chance than you throwing into triple coverage. I get that. Not a Sickness Podcast. I enjoy watching your show. You guys are very informative. Appreciate all the hard work you guys do to maintain your channel. Thank you, man. We appreciate that. We both pride ourselves in just making sure we understand the game and not trying to give so much us, so much as trying to understand what San Francisco is doing and why they're doing it. That's the big thing. Because, we can sit here and I can talk till I'm blue in the face about what I think, but then we're just talking about me and we're not talking about the Niners and what the reality is and what they're trying to do and how they're going to try and build this team, or who are the foundational pieces, or who are the guys we need to be watching for next year. And we're just talking about what we want. And last time I checked, and Ant, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. And if I'm wrong, you can correct me. We're not the general managers or the president or the coaches of San Francisco. So, what we want doesn't mean jack diddly squat. It just truly doesn't. And Pure Ed 22, Trey is gonna go off. I love it. I love that, man. I love that confidence. I'm glad to see 49ers fans, feeling really good about the franchise quarterback, the future of this organization. Because if they weren't, I'd be really concerned. I'd be really concerned, right? It'd be a little shaky. Let's see. I think Aaron Banks will look a lot better playing his natural position again, trying to get to a guy to reserve all his habits from the left side of his body to the right and vice versa. That ain't easy. Fable, you're not wrong. It isn't. It is tough. It is tough to do things inverted. Really tough to get things to invert. And as a coach who coach basketball, trying to teach young kids, yeah, right. We're not in a shocking development, and a development unlike any other. We are not making decisions for the 49ers. Pain, absolute pain. Yeah, no, it's so anyway. So back to Aaron Banks' fable. You're right. It's a lot easier to play on one side. It's a lot easier to play on a side that you're natural or used to playing. And I think that's kind of shed some light into how the 49ers feel about Banks as well. They think he's going to take a step. They think he took a big enough step last season to be a guy they were comfortable rolling with towards the end of the year and in the playoffs. And if they feel that way, then it would explain why they didn't want to pay Lincoln Tomlinson $13 million. We think Banks is ready. And if he's not ready, he's dang close. We'll take the chance. We'll take the risk. It's interesting. It is interesting. Jimmy's the leader of men. Do you realize how difficult it is to lead 10 plus other men and at the level of competition, personalities, and de-measuring? Yeah, I mean, Juanito, it is hard. It is hard to lead. Luckily, the Niners have a great locker room and just a great situation with guys who've put the organization and the team first. So when you have guys that are all bought into, and then your quarterback is a guy who just comes in and works and goes to work every day and doesn't make things about himself. He's not on social media. He's not, drawing negative attention to the organization, the team. He's not a distraction. Really easy to follow that guy. It's really easy to follow that guy. Patriots offense is not stacked. LMFAO. Mac has a bunch of third-string wide receivers that couldn't beat man coverage. Ken Martin, I don't remember anyone saying the Patriots offense is stacked. And if I said that, then God, throw a pie in my face. Please. And then take a picture and post it in the chat, because, yeah, nothing about the offense is stacked there. They have a nice run game. A lot of running backs. Nice running back by committee situation. But yeah, they're not stacked. Nothing about them is stacked. Talk about the draft, says Foy. We're going to be this week. All of this week coming up, we're going to be doing some draft stuff. We're going to start getting into drafts conversations, draft news. We're going to start going through each and every position this week on the channel live for you, Cutback Crew. That's right, live. We're going to be going live to talk about the draft. We're going to break down positions. We're going to break down players that we think fit the San Francisco 49ers scheme. So that's going to be all week long. So if you don't want to miss those live streams this week, most of the time they're going to be kind of later in the afternoon, I would imagine. Probably 5 p.m., somewhere in there. 5 p.m. Pacific time. So make sure you are liked, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. Because if there is any breaking news, because it is wave 3 of free agency, then you're not going to want to miss the breaking news and us going live to talk about it and what it means for the San Francisco 49ers. And if there isn't breaking news, well, then you're not going to want to get, not notified about the streams that we're having and the conversations we're going to be having. And the first one that's going to be up on the docket is the wide receiver room. We're going to be talking about the wide receivers in the upcoming 2022 NFL draft and talking about which guys make sense for the San Francisco 49ers. So you're not going to want to miss that, because that is going to be a fun stream. That is going to be an exciting stream. Ant and I are stoked with the possibilities at the wide receiver position, because him and I think both have guys that go all the way. I don't want to speak for you, Ant. Like, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm pretty sure that you got guys that the Niners can grab in the 7th round. That would be fantastic situations for San Francisco. And I know for a fact that we're not going to be talking about in this wide receiver episode that we do this week live for the Cutback Crew. You're not going to be talking about potential gem wide receivers. No. That'll be separate videos. We'll be talking about gem players in separate conversations. So make sure you're subscribed, because you're not going to want to miss those conversations. And I'll tell you what, if this article on Trey comes out tomorrow and it's a bunch of fooey fong nonsense, and I believe it's going to be, then we may just go live just to laugh about it. Like, we may just want to laugh and have a good time with you guys about it, because I am actually interested to see what this article is, what this guy from SI is thinking, and what arguments and cases he's going to try and make, or whether this is just a clickbait satirical thing, where he's just going to be like tongue-in-cheek about the whole thing. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone has to say about this organization, this team, because I want to know how people feel. I want to know how the Cutback Crew feel. I want to know how the beat writers feel, even though for the most of the time I kind of know how the beat writers feel. So this is going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting week. It's going to be an exciting week, because we're going to have breaking news segments for anything that breaks San Francisco 49ers, and we're going to have absolutely fantastic conversations all week long for the next few weeks, all the way up until draft time, about positions in the draft the 49ers could go after and who those guys are. And look at that. Alerts are up, folks. They're up and running. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's make that bigger. Oh my goodness gracious. We got our first super chat here. Our first super chat with me and the alerts. Congratulations to me for finally getting that set up. From Sam Wilkins, $6.99 super chat. We've been getting blue balled so hard. I hope we make the Super Bowl this year. Sam, I don't think any 49ers fan doesn't want that. I think every 49ers fan wants that. And I don't blame 49ers fans for one. I want that. You can ask Ann. I was someone who, before all of this happened, before, the Niners had cap space and all this, I was someone who was very on the fence about giving up too much. Because part of the reason was because I know how good the Niners have drafted, especially late rounds, but giving up too much draft capital, knowing that the Niners are really trying to build this team through prospects and development. And after this last season and how close we got again, if we can buy a Super Bowl, let's buy a Super Bowl. We can do it. I'm ready for it. I just want it. I want this group with this team in this current situation and moment. I want them to be able to have that. I want the city to have that. I want, Levi Stadium for us to be able to celebrate as a fan base and an organization. I would love that to be this year for Trey. Year 1 as a starter. That would be great. Be absolutely great for him. Kiss the monkeys off of his back, and now there's no pressure. Right? There's no more pressure. You got one already. And he doesn't even have to be the key linchpin, right, in getting it. Tom Brady wasn't for his first 3 Super Bowls. He just didn't screw it up for the Patriots. This is a moment. Like, this is a moment in time that's going to be very, very interesting for the 49ers and how they go about trying to get this done. Tony asked, did the schedule come out yet? No, it has not. It has not. That's still a couple of months away. Not you, guy. The guy above who was blaming Mac. Okay, Ken, thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, man. I'm glad I didn't say it. Throw a pie in his face. Throw a pie in his face, though. Jimmy is very clutch. You gotta watch the games, my man. Jimmy is clutch. He's 100% clutch. He has ice in his veins sometimes, it feels like. But then there are some situations where he misses some things. The Rams game and the NFC Championship game was an example of that. He missed a lot of stuff there. 49ers need offensive line depth, said Harold. Here, it feels like it. Feels like it. But maybe the front office and the coaching staff knows something that we don't about the current linemen that they have, all 9 of them. NFL broke down a list of top 5 draft prospects for every position. That's great, but not everyone who is on those lists for the NFL and not every draft prospect is a fit in the 49ers scheme. So that's what we're going to be covering. All this week is going to be all about breaking news and all about the draft prospects that fit in the 49ers offensive scheme. And if it's defense, then defensive scheme as well. And oh my goodness gracious, did we get another super chat? Is this another one? Oh my goodness gracious, is this a second? It's a second super chat. Oh my goodness, Sam Wilkins, 279. What do you think about the Brady Dolphin rumors? I think the Brady Dolphins rumors are intriguing. And specifically because the guy reporting said rumors about him trying to figure a way to get to Miami. He's the same guy who broke that Tom Brady was going to be signing with Tampa before he did it. It's the same guy. So could it have been luck the first time around? Absolutely. Absolutely. But he also could just have a source. He could just have a source. And if he has a source, then that means there's water there. Like there's actually like something to grasp onto. Then again, this could just be him drawing connections and conclusions to the fact that he was originally trying to get to Miami. Everyone knew that. He was trying to get to Miami with Sean Payton after he retired. And when everything happened with Brian Flores in that situation, it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to work out. And so those talks and conversations died down. And now that the Dolphins have gone all in, trading the people they've traded, signing the people, spending the money that they've spent, people and that guy's like, maybe Tom wants to go back there. Maybe he's going to try and get there. Oh my goodness. I wish we were in a position to get Christian Watson, said Perret a little bit earlier. And you are right, my guy. God, I wish that were the case. And Alex, 49ers Cutback, new sub Perret 22. Perret, welcome to the Cutback crew, my guy. Thank you so much for that. Stream Elements, what are you doing? I know alerts are working, Stream Elements. I know they're working. So you need to step up your game, Stream Elements. You got to step this up. Niners playing in Las Vegas this year. Who's going, says Toby. Yeah, who is going? Who's going? I imagine a lot of people are going to be enjoying that. I will marry Alex also, says Tony. Tony, I'm going to politely decline. Politely. I don't even know how I'm supposed to politely do that. Politely? Did I really say politely? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't speak anymore. What is the article you referred to earlier, says Brad? I'm not sure. I don't have it in front of me. I'm going to have to try and find it. I'll try and post it in the community page tonight before I go nighty night beddy bye time. Go sleepy sleep. Like before then, I'll post it in the community page, the Cutback crew, so you guys can see it and see who's posted it. You can click on his little thing, and if you want to read it or something, I guess you can. Who knows? Maybe it'll be behind the paywall, and nobody will be able to read it unless you pay. Tony says, "Love your channel, Alex." Well, not just my channel, man. It's not just my channel. Ant and I, this is basically Ant's brainchild. Ant and Horse really are the ones who came up with wanting to do this, and they brought me in after a long stint of coaching that I had been doing to kind of help with the channel in certain ways and doing certain things, and we've just been grinding ever since, and it's been a lot of fun. So I mean, everything that we do here is a labor of love from us for this team and this community, because I'll tell you what, man, this is really easy for us to do, and by easy I mean like it's not a drag. Coming on here to talk 49ers with you is exciting. It's fun. It's enjoyable. We get to hear from you. We get to talk with you. We get to hear your perspectives. We get to help that, shape the way we're seeing things as well, and trying to make sure that we're seeing this in a way that isn't biased or at least trying not to create our own narrative and stir the pot. We're just trying to talk football. And as Ant has said numerous times on this show, especially early on when we first started this thing, he said this a lot. He said, hey, if we weren't doing this here on YouTube, if we weren't doing this on our traditional podcast platforms, we would just all be chilling, hanging out on a Saturday at one of our places, at his place, wherever, and doing this anyway. This is just something we've always done. And the COVID pandemic allowed us an opportunity to put this out there in a platform, put this out there on YouTube, put this out there on traditional podcast platforms, and try and branch out and connect with other 49ers fans. And my goodness gracious, it has blown up. It's blown up in a way that him and I both hoped it would, because we thought there was a lot of people like the Cutback crew out there who saw the game, that were very passionate about this football team and passionate about the sport, and would love having these types of conversations. And you guys are here. Look at all y'all. Look at you guys and gals out here, flooding the chat with questions each and every time we stream, showing up for the daily videos, supporting this channel, liking videos, sharing videos on social media. I mean, Gary, one of our mods, every single video within 3 minutes of it going up, he's already shared it. Every time. David Campbell's another guy. Every time. Share stuff, you guys go to this merch shop, you buy the merch, you're sending us pictures on Discord. I mean, it is absolutely phenomenal. Everything that this community has done to support this channel, to support us, to encourage us, to push us, it's been a blessing, to say the least. For me not to drag on for 45 minutes talking about how great you all are and how appreciative we are of each and every one of you, I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. It is a humbling experience. It is a fun experience. No doubt. What we doing at right tackle? Compton left, and he wasn't a good anchor blocker anyway, says Tony. McGlinchey is what it feels like. It feels like McGlinchey. Feels like it's Mike McGlinchey's job. I mean, barring Jalen Moore developing into something that none of us expect, it feels like Mike McGlinchey is the option there for the 49ers. Feels like that's what we're going to be doing. Mike McGlinchey at right tackle. Because it doesn't feel like we're going to draft somebody and stick them at right tackle and move McGlinchey into guard and pay him $10 million. That's not something the Niners are going to do. If you were going to pay Lincoln Tomlinson 13, you're not playing Mike McGlinchey 10 to play right guard. You're just not doing that. You're just not. Crazy. It's crazy. And oh my goodness gracious, we're going to get another super chat. Oh my goodness. We're going to get another super chat. I'm going to wait for it to pop up first, David. I'm going to wait for it to pop up first. I saw some here. Do you believe in Kyle as our coach, says Arvis. Please explain, break down your reason. Okay. I'm going to do that. Arvis. After this, though. See what I did there? See the dramatic pause right here for this? $10 super chat from David V63. Take Meg to Popeyes and get a toucan dine. Hashtag TCC. I like Popeyes. Megan? Not as much. I think it's the line. The Popeyes line in where we're at is long. Oh, it is long. It's crazy how long it is. It's called the Faithful for a reason. So Arvis, do I believe in Kyle Shanahan? Yes. 100% believe in Kyle Shanahan as a coach. A couple of reasons. The first being, this is a guy who not only understands, not only does he have a system in place that has worked and has been working, he's very good at player development and divvying out responsibilities. This isn't a guy who is trying to micromanage everything. He's willing to give up control of certain things so he can focus on the bigger picture. This year is a perfect example of that, right? With all of the struggles, some of the coaching staff turnover that we had this year, he really had to focus on some things with this team, things like special teams, things like his wide receiver play and what was going on with Brandon Ayuk. He had to focus and pay a little bit more attention to certain areas of the game, and that took him away from things like the run game that he's usually had a lot of success with the pass game and some of those things at the quarterback position that he usually spends time on. And so Kyle is just one of those guys who he's found this balance between being a micromanager and being just a manager, A guy who puts the right guys in the right spot, whether that's players or whether that's coaches, and lets them do their job. And he knows who those guys are and how to value them. All right, promoting D'Amico Ryans, the defensive coordinator, was not only the right move, it was the best move. And remember when that happened, when he promoted D'Amico, there were a lot of people questioning it. Shoot, NFL.com came out and ranked the Niners defense as 15th in the league. They would be the 15th best defense in the NFL because they were going to be taking a massive step back with a rookie defensive coordinator. Well, that was wrong. That was not even close to right. That was just inaccurate, like the whole way. So there are things that people have gotten wrong about Kyle, and there are narratives about Kyle that just aren't fair. One of them being he can't win the big game. Last time I checked, basically the entire second half of the season was must-win games. Did we lose some? Yeah, but we won the ones that were necessary. Like, we won the games that mattered the most in order to put us in a position. Did we win the NFC Championship game? No, you didn't win the NFC Championship game. Is that Kyle Shanahan's fault? Some people say yes, he didn't get the ball to Deebo. He didn't get the ball to Deebo for 12 minutes. Yeah, except when you watch the film back. When you watch the All-22 film, there was plenty of wide-open Deebo Samuel. Plenty of wide-open Deebo Samuel. Plenty of wide-open George Kittle. Ball's not getting there. Ball's not getting there. And if the ball's not getting there, is that Kyle Shanahan's fault? If he's dialing up plays and guys are wide open, the ball's just not getting to that guy, is that on Kyle Shanahan? Doesn't feel like it. Now, people can be like, well, if it was Trey Lance, well, maybe. Maybe if it was Trey Lance, the ball gets there. Maybe. But Trey's got to find the guy, and that's one of the things he struggled with also. It comes down to your veteran quarterback missed. He missed in spots that he shouldn't have missed, and maybe it was the shoulder, maybe it's the thumb. Maybe it's a lot of things that caused the misses to happen and the misses to occur. But, I mean, he's putting guys in position to make plays. And I think some of the flack that he has caught is not fair. It's not fair. But hey, in other worldly news, life's not fair. It comes with the territory, so he knows. He's aware of it. That's why he was able to right the ship and wasn't, in a corner pouting and complaining. The media's mean to me. Some of the fan base, they won't just leave me alone. He's not doing that, right? He's like, okay, people are upset. That's fine. We're not playing up to par. They should be upset. Let's get back to the drawing board and figure this out. That's all we can do. And that's what they did. Indeed. And Arvis, thank you for answering my questions. Plus, I love Popeyes. I really appreciate the fact that you pronounced my name right. Hey, you're welcome, my guy. Thank you for the wonderful question, because it was a wonderful question. Fantastic question. I feel like McGlinchey is going to retire because of his injury, says Pered. Pered, if he's having setbacks in rehab and he has to have like another surgery or things aren't healing right and it becomes like a thing where it's just constantly re-aggravating, can't get healthy, then maybe, but I haven't heard anything that would make me think that. He'd have to really do some serious damage in rehab. And with a completely torn quad like that, they usually progress you into that. They ease you in. They don't just go out there and throw you into the fire and just be like, boom, boom. Let's see. But this is the fifth time I've heard do the Niners trade Deebo. Where does it say that? Talking about the thumbnail? Is that what you're upset about, Mike? Is the thumbnail? Thumbnail that says Deebo rumors? Trade trouble? All right, cool. Which O-linemen are left on the free agent market? Frank, in terms of O-linemen the Niners will sign, I don't know. I don't know if the guy exists. They got 9 guys currently. I think it's actually 10 if you include the Pasta Man. I think it's 10 if you include the Pasta Man. I don't think they're doing it. I don't think they're signing an offensive lineman. I think they like what they have. I think if anything, they'll draft some more depth. That's what it feels like they're going to do. Are the 49ers... Ooh, hold on a second. Where is this at? Don't you do this to me. Chat. Don't you do this to me. Oh, wrist in pieces. There it is. Okay, from Rick Dowdy. Will the 49ers be able to trade Jimmy G, and what will they get? They can trade Jimmy G. It's just not going to be until after the draft, I think. I think after the draft. And if it's going to be that, then you're looking possibly at a second, maybe a third. The problem is if it's just a second, I don't know if the Niners do it. I think John Lynch has kind of just shown the world that he's not going to trade Jimmy Garoppolo unless it's 2 2s or a 2 and maybe it's a 1 and a 2. Oh God, I don't know. I think he's being stubborn. I think they have a value on Jimmy, and if they're not going to get that, then they'd rather hold on to him. I think they think he's more valuable on the roster than he is not on the roster if you're not going to get the picks that you want. That may be how they view the situation. I know that I personally would not view it that way. If someone was going to offer me a 2 and a 4, I would take a 2 and a 3. I would take, if the rumors of 2 and a 2 are true, I would have taken that and asked no questions and been, skipping and clicking my heels, and they're after me, Lucky Charms. I did it. We won. We won the trade. How could we not have won the trade? You gave up a second for Jimmy. You got that second back and another second round pick. If that was truly on the table, then he's silly. It's silly if you didn't actually take that. I don't know though. I don't know. Why is the poll question? No, not going to happen. Deebo isn't Tyreek. Says Mike's daddy. Mike's daddy. We talked about this we're an hour into the stream, and we're an hour and 16 minutes. We're past this. I mean, we talked about this already. It's not happening, my guy. It's not happening. Deebo's not getting traded. They're not doing that unless the team's willing to throw 10 years of future first round picks at the 49ers. It's just not going to happen. So, Mike's daddy, we're all on the same page here, man. We're all on the same page. We talked about this 50 minutes ago. I remember Ryan Leaf, or should I say Cryan Leaf, says Marvin. Oh, goodness. Poor Cryan Leaf. Poor Cryan Leaf. 49ers might have Alex, you're on after Will Smith's debacle at the Oscars. Now that's a tough act to follow. That's what I keep hearing. I feel like we're doing all right, though. We're doing okay. Will Smith does something crazy at the Oscars, and people are like, whoop, I'm tuning out, and they come back here. That's the good news. That's the good news. I'm excited then. I think part of the rumors is the 49ers already did this with DeForest Buckner, so you can't say it's impossible. Well, yeah. Except it was 2 guys at the same time that were going to have to pay. There were 2 guys. It was Buckner and Armstead. Both of them, you're going to have to pay one of them. And the salary cap wasn't about to take a gigantic leap forward next year. So circumstances are different. And the Niners saw somebody in the draft they thought they could get to replace him. Now, has that happened? No. Javon Kinlaw hasn't been available or healthy. But there's potential still. There's promise. We all hope, right? We all hope Kinlaw's going to be able to be on the field and stay healthy. So, I mean, Eric, I get what you're saying, though. I definitely get what you're saying. There were some similarities between the two, and I get why people feel a certain way, one way or the other. The Kappa says not for $27 million. They're not re-signing him. There are people who feel that way also. Do you think they wait till Jimmy's healthy to cut him? Says David Hasselhoff. I don't believe they're going to cut him. I don't. I really don't think they're going to cut him. It feels like he's either going to be on the roster or he's going to get traded. It doesn't feel like he's going to get cut. Because if the Niners just wanted to move off of him, then you could have done that. You could have told teams, just make us an offer. Make us an offer, and we're good. We're good. We don't need anything else. That's literally all they had to do. That's it. And they haven't done that. Bobo with the super chat. Let's see this thing, man. $2. Can't trade a Deebo. Brought the speaker box entrance. That's the reason right there, Bobo. You ain't wrong, man. That's too much culture in the locker room, man. That's too much camaraderie there. You can't do that. They can't ever come out with the speaker again if you trade Deebo. Bobo with the super chat of super chats on the night, my guy. That is fantastic. WTM, do we have a first round pick this year? No, Miami. Well, Miami had said first round pick. Now the Chiefs have said first round pick. That was part of the Trey Lance deal last year. Oh my goodness. JLA, Arden Key still making his way around the NFL as of now. Yeah, no Arden Key signing news. So every day he gets closer to coming back to San Francisco. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how they're going to make that happen. If Arden Key, if there's any way at all whatsoever for him to be able to re-sign with the Niners, I think the Kerry Hyder move kind of just makes it really hard. It makes it really hard, you know. It truly does. But it feels like the Niners are moving on. It feels like they think someone's going to pay him more than what they're willing to pay him. And just because he's going around, he may be going around a bunch of different teams because he knows what he feels, right? I'm worth this much money. I should get paid this much money. And they may not be offering him that. But they may be offering him better than what San Francisco's already offered him. And he may be like, well, if I don't get, this from one of these teams, then I can go back to San Francisco for this, or I can go to one of these other teams and take the best amount. I don't think he wants to come back. I don't think he does. I think he wants to get paid. And I think he thinks someone's going to do it. Nick Cross, safety from Maryland, would be a great pickup in the draft. Says Loatha Truth 05. Cross is a fantastic guy. He is a fantastic guy. Toby Reyes, who should the Niners draft with their first two picks? Keep up the great work, says Toby. We're gonna dive into that. We're gonna dive into that. I don't want to give anything away yet because we do have mock drafts that we have coming out. We do have this week coming up. We're gonna be doing draft and player breakdowns and guys the 49ers should target at every position, at every single position, even quarterback, folks. We'll probably spend like 5 seconds on quarterbacks, but even quarterbacks, we're going to go through every single position and guys that are scheme fits for the San Francisco 49ers. So I don't want to give away what I think they're going to do because we're going to have episodes and live streams all this week, next week, week after, all the way up till draft that talk about this. But I'll give you a position. I think it's going to be edge rusher. There you go. I think it'll be edge rusher. And that may send some 49ers fans into an absolute tissy, but it feels like it's going to be edge rusher. Frank asks, Saladivar, off topic. I remember the hot dog sellers in Candlestick during baseball games, the intoxicating smell and awesome taste of fresh cooked dogs with mustard. I do remember that as well. I went to a lot of games at Candlestick with my dad. A lot of football games. I think I've been to a total of 10 49ers games over my 31 years, and the Niners are 10-0. Yeah, buddy, 10-0. So I'm hoping to get back to a game soon. Deebo in the wide receiver room is good and experienced. No, we don't have a DK Metcalf, but we have a reliable wideouts that are excellent and versatile. Jimmy needs to be traded to a team that he can. I think he can have an impact on. Possibly. I see Mike's daddy here is going full sarcasm. Full sarcasm. I like it, Mike's daddy. I like it, Mike's daddy. What Mike, by the way? Because I can't see the profile picture. What Mike? What Mike are we talking about? Mike Shanahan? Mike Singletary? Mike Gugliotta? Who is it? As far as the question, how long will Jimmy be on the team? Answer is until he's traded or just before week 1, says Lou. All right. I like it, Lou. I like it. David said, I thought I heard he went to Giants. I hadn't heard that. It is possible, though, David. Megan, look that up. Cutback crew, look that up. Did Arden Key sign with the Giants? I hadn't seen anything. I had not seen anything. Kyle and John doing what they do when it comes to drafting. I mean, this is where they've had the most success. And I know that is a contested point. I think a lot of people don't necessarily feel that way about John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan because they always bring up first-round picks and guys they missed on. But they have hit on so many guys in the middle round, so many guys in the second round, so many undrafted free agents that it's really hard to look at this organization and team and feel like they don't do a good job with the draft and they don't do a good job of bringing in players. It feels like they do. They really do. They just haven't had necessarily the luck you'd like to have at the first round. Right? They haven't been great there. But then again, there are a lot of teams that are that way. There's a lot of teams that miss on first-round picks and first-round talent. It happens. Hugo G, I went to a soccer game once at Candlestick. That's nice, man. At Candlestick. I've never been to a soccer game, like a professional soccer game. I went to a couple Sac State soccer games. I was at Sac State because I was in the major with a couple of guys, and they were cool. And a pretty good soccer team. So I was like, I'll go check that out. But no, never been to a professional soccer game. Has not happened. I know they had some Premier League stuff at Levi's, and a couple of times I think Megan and I were at what is the amusement park? What is the amusement park right next to Levi's? I don't even know why I'm blanking on this. It shouldn't be. It's probably Six Flags something. But anyway, we were there. We were there while a Premier League game was going on. It was pretty crazy. Solomon Thomas is a glaring failure, but they have done well with others like Deebo and Kittle and Greenlaw, right? And let's not also forget the wonderful Daniel Brunskill, undrafted free agent. I mean, they've hit. They have absolutely hit. Arden Key still listed as being on the 49ers on the ESPN app, says Eric Dane. So per ESPN, we still have him. Per Eric Dane. Eric Dane may have just broke news. They've just broke news. Here's HR. Will Smith is a lunatic. Apparently, I'm going to have to watch this. I'm going to have to find out what happened. Great America. There it is. Six Flags Great America. Thank you, Hugo. Thank you. Some guy who can't stop slandering Jimmy, bro. His whole Twitter is dedicated to S talking Jimmy. It's sad. Jimmy is an average QB, but 33 and 14 to starter isn't a fluke. No, Jimmy is a quality starting quarterback in this league. He's middle of the pack. He's a middle of the pack quarterback. He's got an elite trait. That's that release of his. He's got a mind for the game. He understands defenses and reads defenses pretty well. But he has limitations and he has a ceiling. And as 49ers fans, we're all hoping that wasn't going to be the case. And unfortunately, it just is. And Kyle Shanahan said it. You either have an elite quarterback or you're looking for an elite quarterback. And the Niners were looking and are now hoping that it's Trey Lance. Because you were hoping it's Jimmy, and it wasn't. And now you're hoping it's Trey. And hopefully you hit. Because if you hit on the elite quarterback, your job as a coach becomes a lot easier, and your football team takes a big kick up in terms of play on the field and being able to overcome mistakes. I went to a 49ers experience on the field when I was young and kicked an extra point in the 90s and made it. The truth. Oh, the truth. Okay. Making extra points. Making field goals. It's actually funny. I punted in high school. It was all league. Had the highest average net yards per punt as a senior in the state of California. And could not kick off of a tee or a block or a field goal or PAT to save my life. Can't do it. Not capable. Not a skill set. I could hold. It was like Kyle Juszczyk. I was a utility guy. I could hold. Be our backup quarterback. I could start at wide receiver. I could start at corner. I could punt. Oh, man. Don't have me kick off. Don't have me kick extra points. It ain't getting close. It ain't getting close, my guy. It's never happening. Monica in the chat. What is up, Monica? How you doing? She said, hi, Gary. How's everyone doing? You mentioned Dre Greenlaw. Is he trade bait? Said Hugo. I don't believe so. I know there was a lot of people talking about the Niners should trade him, or we're going to be thinking about trading him. Maybe you could get something for him. Ant and I talked about this. We talked this on a couple different streams. It feels like the Niners, at most, could get a third-round pick for Dre Greenlaw right now. And you could get that same third-round pick if you just let him walk next year and sign with another team. You'll get a comp pick, and it'll be a third-round pick. So what's the point of trading him, right? If all you're going to get is a third-round pick for Dre Greenlaw right now, you'll get that next year if he goes somewhere else as a compensatory pick. And you've hit on those compensatory picks. So, like, for both of us, the way we've looked at it is it makes more sense to keep him around, and he's way more valuable to you on the football team than off. And you can wait and still get the same value for him next year. That's how we both feel. That's how we both feel about it. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens and what they decide to do. It's all Barcelona with Messi play at Candlestick, and I've been to 2 SJ Earthquake games since 49ers Minded. That's awesome, man. That is phenomenal. That is awesome. Soccer is a lot of fun. The atmosphere at soccer games is crazy, especially if you got a wild fan base. It is absolutely nuts. It is nuts at soccer games. So yeah. Lou, yes, at the start, Alex said he'll start doing lives around this time every Sunday, and it will do a live a different night. So you guys get one on one night and one on the other night. That's the plan going forward. We're going to do these once a week. Start doing some individual live streams and just talking with you guys about stuff that's happening in 49ers land, maybe some mock drafts, things like that. Talking different things. How about get some more interaction, some more one-on-one interaction with you guys instead of having to try and juggle everything. Yep, before the ACL. What does it say here? Where's this at? Why? Gosh darn you. Gosh, there we go. Mike's daddy. Yep, before the ACL, Jimmy was looking nice. He was. Even after the ACL. I mean, can we sit here and really pretend like he didn't have a good 2019 season? He had a good 2019 season coming off the ACL. He threw for 3,900 yards. He played good. He really did. So I'm not willing to say that. I'm not. Also, we need to beef up our secondary because we don't scare wideouts throughout the league? Do you agree? I think we have. I still think we have some holes to plug, but right now it doesn't feel like last season where there was huge question marks around the cornerback room. It really doesn't. And Hugo G, welcome to TCC, my guy. Welcome to the TCC, man. Glad to have you here, man. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, my guy. So I mean, look, I think they have. I think they've addressed the cornerback room. I think they've done enough there. You went out and got the big name Charvarius Ward, a guy that you feel is going to fit in the scheme very well. It's going to slow things down on third downs, allow you to go man-to-man coverage, and that you feel can lock down one side of the field. And Emmanuel Moseley showed that he's a gosh darn good cornerback in his own right. Also, another guy that was undrafted. That was another undrafted guy. TCC. He was undrafted also. But Emmanuel Moseley didn't allow a touchdown all last year. Not one. So you got a guy that you know you can rely on and count on in the red zone in Moseley. A guy who's also not going to get beat over the top and give up big plays in Emmanuel Moseley. Charvarius Ward to lock down the other side. I mean, your really only question mark right now is the slot. That's it. So I think the Niners can either draft that guy in the slot or, they can go get a couple other guys. Or maybe there's an undrafted free agent, there's going to be a guy who's an undrafted guy. He'll be an undrafted free agent out of the University of Washington. That's fantastic in the slot that Ant and I both know about. Bookie it. Bookie it, Cutback crew. It's gonna be interesting. How confident are you in starting corners playing man to man? I've always been confident about Emmanuel Moseley. We did a video last year called E-Man the Man, because we were the play on words there being that Emmanuel Moseley is the man for the job. But anyway, we did a video on that last year, and that was one of the things that I talked about in there is that he is shown to be a guy who plays very physical at the line of scrimmage and is able to play very well against physical wideouts in one-on-one situations. DK Metcalf, he's done it time and time again against him. There's always the concern with speed guys in Emmanuel Moseley, but for the most part, he's held up. And you can provide that help over the top and shade a corner there. Or shade a safety over the top, excuse me. Shade a safety over the top. And help in certain situations. So I think the 49ers showed last year that they have a lot of confidence in their cornerback room. And look, when teams went man-to-man, when the Niners went man-to-man and teams were taking shot, they weren't having a lot of success going up against Emmanuel Moseley. It was the other side, right? It was Josh Norman. It was Diamond Onora. It was Ambry Thomas. Those were the guys who were getting beat in man-on-man situations. Charvarius Ward isn't that guy. He's not that guy. So I feel very good about the current cornerback situation. I feel a lot better than last year, especially on the outsides. But there is a big question mark in the slot right now. And the Niners need to address that. They really have to. And Monica says, where the hell Mayfield going? I don't know. I have no idea. Who knows where Baker Mayfield's going? Baker, the reports is that teams were willing to trade for Baker. They wanted Baker and a pick for like a fifth. Like Baker and a fourth for a fifth round pick. The teams are wanting the Browns to give up capital to move off of Baker Mayfield. And if that's what they want, oh my Lord. Good luck figuring that out. Good luck figuring that out. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The Niners trading Jimmy after the draft, please. Possibly, Pered. Possibly. Possibly is the case. Rumor has it Stefan Gilmore is interested in coming to the Niners, says John Doe. If that's truly the case, if he really is interested, he ain't making it known or apparent because he's going to have to take a pay cut. Niners have like $2.3 million in cap space, and that I may be giving them more, like $0.3 million more. It may be like $2 million exactly. They don't have a lot of space. They don't. So unless he's taking a pay cut or the Niners have another restructure or some signing, some extensions that they can do, and they do. They have, Emmanuel Mosley. They have Jimmy Ward. They have Robbie Gould. All of those guys could get extended. Samson Ebicom. All of those guys could get extended and free up money for the 49ers. So unless that's the plan, I don't see it. Now, if Stefan Gilmore and the 49ers want to get this done, though, yes, please. Yes, please. In a heartbeat. Are you kidding me? Let's throw Emmanuel Mosley in the slot. Are you kidding me? Oh. I mean, I joked last year and said if Zach Wilson fell to 3, I said if Zach Wilson fell to 3, I would take my shirt off during the live draft and wave it around and stuff. If Stefan Gilmore ends up in San Francisco, it's going to be really hard for me not to go absolutely bonkers on stream because I'm going to lose it. I will lose it if Stefan Gilmore ends up in San Francisco. 100% will lose it. What's wrong with Lenore in the slot? Nothing, HR. Nothing's wrong with Lenore in the slot. I just don't know if he's ready yet. He showed he struggles a little bit with some press man stuff. The speed isn't always there. Footwork, he gets a little tangled up at times. He gets himself opened up and turned too quick. And other times he gets kind of caught flat-footed. Devontae Adams. Oh my gosh. Why am I blanking on this now? Someone. Wide receiver. Devontae Smith. There it is. Devontae Smith toasted him, the Eagles in week 2. So he's struggled. And he struggles especially when he's got, rookie safety help over the top with Talanoa Hufanga. Devontae Adams exposed him. Now, granted, Devontae Smith, talented. Devontae Adams, like the best wide receiver in the NFL. One of them. There's no Debo slander here. One of them. I said one of them before you could react, chat. I said one of them. So I think he needs a little bit more time. He's got to get a little stronger. He's got to get a little bit more familiar with the scheme. He's got to get more familiar with looks and how to play certain things because he got exposed a couple of times. I mean, the one that was the most inexcusable was the Rams game where he went in at the end and he's dropping back. He's got underneath cover 2 flats area and he's dropping back in space. And all he has to do is put his feet at the goal line. Just put his feet at the goal line and anything that comes up underneath him, just attack. As the ball is released, attack, tackle, keep the guy inbounds out of the end zone. Get him to 4th down, make him take 3. And instead, he backs all the way to the end zone, gives the guy a bunch of room, then comes flying downhill to attack. And by the time he gets there, he's got too much separation. Guy's got too much separation, makes a miss, and then he walks into the end zone. It's like, ugh, you can't do that kind of stuff. He's got some technique stuff that he's got to clean up. He needs some time. Our draft picks take a minute to get going. Debo really got really good this year, and he had an impact in 2019. Let's not forget. He had an impact in 2019. He came on late in that season. Very well. So, look, I think we all don't have I think there's some people that have a big appreciation for what Debo is and what he's becoming because of the season he just had. But a lot of people are like, well, we haven't seen it consistently. And we didn't get to see it consistently. 2020, he had the freak foot injury, the freak foot fracture at the start of the year. Came back from that and played at a pretty good pace. And the Niners tried to utilize him heavy, and he had a lower leg injury, and it led to another lower leg injury. Started pulling his hamstring. And the minute that happens, you just got issues. The fact that he took the load that he just took on this year and was fine and healthy for the whole season, I'm very confident with Debo's durability at this point. I think you don't want to have to keep running him the way that you ran him. You want to keep him healthy long term, but I think he's shown that he can handle the workload. He can definitely handle the workload. 49ers got to get an answer for Kupp, says Hugo. Yeah. Cooper Kupp's really good. I don't know if there is an answer out there because he toasts just about everybody. But if that guy exists, yeah, because he's good. He's really good. Our draft picks. I've already read that one. My apologies. Cutback here. Baker keeps the stadium looking pretty good, though. Gary, you ain't wrong. He really does. I think that's the most intriguing thing about the Browns situation. Like that's the most intriguing thing. It's not like where he lands up and if he can recapture the Baker magic, right? And just to be doing all those dances and stuff and having being the swaggy quarterback. I don't care about that. I want to know what Progressive is going to do with those commercials. That's what I care about most. Like, is it like Ant said, where it's going to be like a full blown like him moving commercial? Like that's the next one we see of him is him moving. That would be funny. That would be good. It'd be funny. It'd be good stuff. Him landing at his new place, moving into the stadium, and there being like another quarterback there already. Like, what if he landed in Pittsburgh as like him and Trubisky carrying the stadium? See, that would be funny. I would give him some credit for that, but I don't know. Don't you think they should franchise tag him, says Bomber? That is something that, may happen. If the Niners and him can't reach an agreement, they can just franchise tag him until they work it out. And the salary cap will keep going up at that point also. So, I mean, the Niners don't have to rush into this. They have a lot of options to attack this, and they can franchise tag him twice, I believe. So, you're not in a bad spot. Trading Debo would be much tougher than Buckner, says 49ers George. You're not wrong, and there'd be a lot of questions. Lot of questions if you did that. So many questions. Why? How come? What's wrong with you? Things like that, Lots of questions. Lots of questions. I mistake Baker and Mansell. Hey, a lot of people do. Baker has a little Johnny in him. Not the same level of Johnny, but it's there, and you can see it. It's obvious. The answer for Cup is the same answer for every great offensive player. Move the ball on offense and keep them off the field. I love it, Eric. You're not wrong. Keep him off the field. You don't have to worry about it. Honestly, not worried about the Rams. I believe that Von Miller was the key to the Rams Super Bowl win. Without Von, Rams don't win. It's a lot harder to win when you don't have an elite pass rusher, opposite of Aaron Donald. You pair Aaron Donald up with anybody that's, a Hall of Fame caliber player, and all of a sudden you have two of the greatest at the position to do it, and you got problems. That's tough to do, unless you're the 49ers and your name's Daniel Brunskill, and then they just, stay away from you. Aaron Donald, stop running from Daddy Brunskill. Face him. You got to face your fears. You must confront Daniel. It's like confronting Vader, except it's Daniel Brunskill. Get it? It was funny. You chuckled a little bit. It won't happen. They will lock Deebo down, said Monica. Yeah, they're going to. And Mike's daddy agrees with that as well. They're going to lock it down. So, no. Freak, stop. Knock it off. You stop that. Love how the 49ers defense is evolving. Offensive line is highly questionable. Trey has great deep ball touch and awareness, but those routes require the O-line to pass block longer. Not good, says Frank. Not good. It's a concern, but there's also Trey's mobility you got to factor in. If as dominant as the run game has been, if it can continue that, then you're in a better situation. You're in a better situation, and that's going to keep teams honest and on their toes and second guessing. And look, I have faith that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch know what they're doing with the O-line. And they obviously feel, that Forrester and them have done enough work with these guys that, you're in a good spot. Always believe in yourself. New to the channel, just subscribe. Welcome to the Cutback crew, my guy. Welcome to the TCC. And we've had this question a couple times, so I wanted to clear this up because there have been some people who have come on or have messaged us on different platforms and been like, hey, I subscribed and I see other people subscribe on your channel and you guys get a little notification. How come I didn't get that? So on YouTube, the way this thing works is if your channel is public, so if it's not privated, if it's a public channel and you subscribe to another channel, we know and YouTube knows. And that lets Stream Elements, our Stream Elements, I guess, alert bot, it lets that know. And then we get notified and then that comes up on screen and you get the cool little Ayo or one more for the good guys. So if you're not a public channel on YouTube, there's no way for us to know unless you tell us. So if you subscribe to the channel, let us know. We appreciate all the support, everyone that's here. So always believe in yourself. Welcome to the TCC. Welcome. Unfortunately, football is a business. Well, let me see this here. Football's a business. The Niners traded Montana and they traded Y.A. Tittle. I mean, it is a business. Bill Belichick has, traded away guys in what felt like in their prime that were cornerstone pieces of the organization to get younger at certain spots and do different things. So I mean, this is not new. Like this happens. This is the NFL. This is a business. You're gonna make the best decision that's for business and for your organization, short term and long term. And if you feel like you can bring in a guy right now in the short term and not lose too much, and it could benefit you long term, then you're gonna do it. And that may be what the Niners did with Lincoln Tomlinson. That may be the situation we're in. They're sitting there going, Daniel Brunskill can start at right guard. We can plug Aaron Banks in, and we may lose a little bit early in terms of readiness and level of play early, but you have Trent Williams on that side. We feel he's developed pretty nicely already, and you know what? Maybe that means by the time we get to the end of the season next year, he's playing at Lincoln Tomlinson levels or dang near close, and that's great for us because we're not paying $13 million for a left guard. That's more money that goes other places. So you have to make sacrifices. You really truly do, and the Niners have done that at times. I mean, they're taking a risk right now. In theory, we all think they are anyway, right? We think they are. You're taking a risk going with a quarterback in Trey Lance that you don't know anything really truly about in terms of what he's going to be. It's a shot in the dark. But you know his upside is phenomenal. His upside can't be measured at the moment. So it's like, I'm willing to take that risk. With all that upside, he can be as good as the guy we just had, right? That's what you're thinking. That's what you're banking on. And that's what we're all hoping is going to be the case. Y'all need to quit the divide between Jimmy and Trey. Just support the Niners. It's not that hard. Well, Mike's daddy. I mean, you're new. You're new around here, Mike. I believe you're new anyway. I haven't seen you in the chats a whole lot. This is a channel that has been very pro whoever the quarterback is for the 49ers. But we're going to continue to be that. If it's Jimmy, then great. If it's Trey, then great. It doesn't matter. It's Nate Sudfeld. You acknowledge him, right, Caleb? You acknowledge him, and then you support whoever the guy is that's behind center. That's what we've been doing. But we are trying to we are looking at this and trying to see, who the quarterback is going to be. And it feels like it's going to be Trey. Just because it makes sense for the 49ers to free up the money and be able to build a better roster. Dylan Parnham says HR. He is a fantastic gentleman out of Memphis. That is a fantastic gentleman out of Memphis. You are not wrong, my guy. I didn't expect to hear a YA Tittle reference tonight, but here we are. Eric, we have a fan base here that has been around for a while. The Cutback Crew community, it's all over the place, man. It's all over the place. We got people who have been Niners fans since like the 50s. They went absolutely crazy, by the way. A couple of them went absolutely crazy when we dropped our wonderful, absolutely incredible 49ers Cutback in Time episode on one of the 1950 teams. That's over on Patreon. So if any of you guys like additional content, Patreon is the place to be. And by the way, all of our Patreon people who are in here tonight, new stuff is coming very soon. We just wanted to get through free agency. And then we are going to start addressing stuff. But post-draft, we're going to see a lot of season 2 of your favorite shows, like 49ers Cutback in Time, Big Yikes, and things like that. So Patreon, oh boy. All of that plus much, much more coming on the channel. You're not going to want to miss any of it. None of it. So if you enjoy additional content, join right now on Patreon. It's as little as $7. As little as $7 over on Patreon. You get everything that we've already put out. Season 1 of Big Yikes. Season 1 of 49ers Cutback in Time. All of the All-22 film breakdowns that we did throughout the year. The All-22 highlights as well. And the Cutback Madden League, which is exclusively on Patreon. You can go watch all of the hijinks and the shenanigans from Season 1. Also, well, actually, it's also right here, channel membership on YouTube. It's also there. So you can just join the channel here on YouTube as well. But you also get the Madden playthroughs. That is only on Patreon. Isn't that right, Patreon people? Playthrough is only there. That's the only place you get to watch it. And Big Yikes is fantastic, but you're not wrong. Not wrong indeed. What did Caleb say? Acknowledge him. You have to. I'm pro Bomber. I'm just pro quarterback. I'm just pro 49ers in all honesty. We catch a lot of flack here. I mean, we've been called homers. We've been called delusional. We've been called the Sunshine and Rainbow Gang. Someone actually called us that. That was funny. The Sunshine and Rainbows. Nothing's ever wrong with the 49ers. It's just the whole sunshine and rainbows. Yeah. All good stuff. Yeah. I don't give you none of the bad. No. Oh, it's just the cream of the crap all the way to the top. Yeah. Stuff like that. So, I mean, look, people are going to feel any way they want to feel, right? You're going to feel any way that you want to feel about this team. And that's all good. We want all of it. We want to have those conversations with you. We see things a certain way here on this channel, and the Cutback crew see things sometimes in similar ways and sometimes in very different ways. And we want that. We want that. We want to have that conversation. We want to talk this thing out. We want to hear from the Cutback crew. We want to hear from the faithful. We want to discuss it. We want to try and get to know this fan base and the team better. Because the more we understand each other and what we want for this team, the more we can all kind of come together and have this understanding that at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, right? We want the best version of the San Francisco 49ers each and every week. That's what we're all looking for. And, you know, we don't have answers. We don't have all the answers. We don't have any, I won't even say we have the answers. But we try. We try to have answers, and we try and set it around what the Niners are doing more so than what we want. Because if it was what I wanted, you trade for Aaron Rodgers, right? You just trade everything. You just get Aaron Rodgers in here and it's guaranteed Super Bowl, right? Cutback crew, Ant, right. I'm not crazy, right? I'm not just me. Just me. Got it. Got it. And Bobber, I saw that. Where's the Patreon link? It's coming, my guy. It's coming right now. We're putting it in. I just tagged Stream Elements. Stream Elements will be throwing it into the chat. Boom. Look at that. There it is. So anyone who's interested in Patreon, hop in over there as well. 16 and over 16. I'm the same person you met 45 years ago, says Hugo. I love that, Hugo. Keep it consistent. Remember, all you need for insane asylum is an empty room and the right kind of people. That's true. This is fun. It's all good. Grant needs therapy. Number one. Look, there's going to be a lot of 49ers fans who are going to need therapy. There's going to be a lot of 49ers fans that are going to need therapy. One way or the other. If Jimmy doesn't get traded and is on the roster, even if he's not started, there's going to be people who are going to be very, very upset. Very upset. If somehow Jimmy ends up starting this year, they have a quarterback competition. He can't start off the QB competition throwing. And Trey doesn't go absolutely wild in training camp, which I don't see how he doesn't, because he almost did last year at training camp. We were there for a bunch of it, and he was lighting it up at times and then not lighting it up at other times. But he had a good camp. Don't I'm not saying Trey Lance didn't have a good camp. He had a good camp. He just didn't have what some people were saying his camp was last year. It was a good training camp. It wasn't a barn burner, just world-beating training camp. But I mean, can you imagine what'll happen if they keep Jimmy Garoppolo, have an open quarterback competition, and he wins the job? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Oh my gosh. I can't imagine. The reaction is going to be apocalyptic. Apocalyptic if that happened. And then if you trade Jimmy, the reaction will be apocalyptic also. The quarterback controversy and drama is not going anywhere. It's just not. It's not. It's not going to change. It's not going to go anywhere. Because if you trade Jimmy Garoppolo, then the people who are pro Jimmy or feel like, he's been done wrong or dirty by the organization, the franchise, they're going to hold Trey's feet to the fire. It's going to be Super Bowl or bust for them. I won't be on that boat or there. I won't do it. But there's that. And Monica up in the membership 7 straight months here on YouTube, using her monthly chat here. Get that big yikes popping again. Your girl needs that. If not, Megan gonna crack that whip. Thanks for the late stream, watching on my night shift. You are welcome, Monica. This has been a lot of fun. I'm absolutely enjoying this. This has been great. 49ers Comeback. Didn't Jimmy throw 5 picks to Fred Warner in training camp? Yeah, I don't tend to weigh that too much, Lova, though. I don't really tend to weigh that. And the reason I don't weigh it that much is because you don't know what's being asked of him in training camp. You don't know if Kyle's telling him to make certain types of throws. You know if he's telling him to try and fit this ball in this window. This past training camp, we heard a lot of people talking about how Jimmy's throwing the ball high, he's sailing everything. And then, literally, that happened, and then 2 days later, they released practice footage and a conversation of Kyle at training camp. Kyle's mic'd up, and he's talking to Jimmy. He's talking about how, hey, I want you putting this ball up in a way where I want our guys going up and trying to make plays. So, I mean, if you don't like a spot or something, throw the ball up high. Let's see if our guy can go up and get this thing. Let's see what they can do. So it's like, okay, well, am I going to get upset with Jimmy for overthrowing some receivers and those resulting in picks if his coach is telling him to do it? No. Just no. Just not going to do it. Look, at the end of the day, mistakes in training camp are mistakes in training camp. And everyone's going to make them. That's what practice is for, right? Practice is supposed to be for mistakes. You're trying to figure out what you can and can't get away with. Try to figure it out. There's a hefty balance between guys just doing the same thing over and over again and making mistakes, and guys trying things and it being a mistake. I used to tell this all the time to my high school team and the kids that I coached, and the best player I ever coached, Corey Demerol, one of the best players I've ever coached in terms of on the field, basketball antics, and just understanding the game. He was someone that saw the game at a very high clip, much like I did, and was just had a phenomenal brain and head on him. But I used to tell him this all the time at practices. Like, your job here isn't to just get us going in the right direction. It's not just for you to be doing the right thing. It's for you to see what you can get away with. You got to figure out what you can get away with. You got to figure out what your guys can handle. So take some chances, take some risks. Don't make the same mistake twice. Don't take the same risk or chance twice, but you got to try something. Right? You got to figure out what the guys around you can do. You got to try and find a way to elevate them. So take some chances. Put them in some tough spots. Let's see if they can make those plays. Because if they can, then we're a better team. And if they can't, then we know what our limitations are and what we can and can't do. So same thing at the professional level, except to a much higher degree. Coaching varsity high school basketball. These are professional athletes here, right? These guys can do freak things. They're the 1% of the 1%. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried about Trey. I'm not worried about any of that. It goes for both guys. And you're right. It does. It goes for everyone. I'm not worried about either of these guys. I think both guys are in a good spot. I think both of these guys are going to be able to have a lot of success. Do you know if Trey can elevate his teammates? Like, in terms of, like, elevating them in what way? Like, elevating them in terms of putting them in positions to make plays? Yes. I've already seen that. Right? We've seen the deep ball throws. We've seen him getting the ball to Debo Samuel in space to make plays. We've seen the deep shots, the deep ball. We've seen him put the ball up in space 50-50 for guys to make plays in training camp and in games in preseason and things of that nature. I've seen that. So yeah, can he put the ball in the spot for his guy to go make a play and that elevates him and elevates the team? Then of course he can do that. The question is can he get the guys consistently in and out of the right sets, in and out of the right plays, and get rid of the ball on time? If he can do that, I just have nothing to worry about. Because that's the Jimmy special. Right? The Jimmy special is checking into the right run play, checking out of bad run play, getting the ball out on time in rhythm to his receivers in space, and allowing them to make plays with their feet. If Trey gets that part dialed in, then this team is fine. And it won't take a step back. It should take a step forward. And potentially a huge step forward. Potentially. Let it play out. We going to be just fine. People worried about nothing. Huh? Much to do about nothing, right? That's how it typically works, though, Mike. That's how it typically works. All right, Cutback crew. A couple more questions. And then we're going to wrap this thing up for the night. And I'm going to go sleepy sleep Betty by time. Try to, anyway. And then turn around and also post that article in the community section. So one more plug, one last time. If you have not already, subscribe to the channel right now. Hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss any videos. You don't miss any live streams. You don't miss breaking news. You don't miss informative community posts. You don't want to miss those things, right? Like, we can all be honest. You don't want to miss those things. So hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell as well, and like the video and share it with the rest of the faithful so we can keep having these fun conversations and keep having, I guess, larger conversations, right? With more viewpoints. It's fun having the day ones in the chat. It's great to have new people like Mike's daddy showing up and Hugo showing up as well. It's fun to have Perret in here giving his take and his spiel as well. It's fun having all of these new faces, Foy, having day ones like Bomber, Marvin, who's been in the chat doing his thing, Gary, who's been holding it down since day one. Literally since, like, day one. Good old mod Gary over here. Look at this guy, man. Hugo, can Trey command the locker room, though? I don't see how he couldn't. I really don't. He's talented, works really hard, he puts in the time. He sat there and watched how Jimmy worked and how well respected Jimmy was in the locker. If you don't think he's going to take all of those things Jimmy did, add them to his routine, and then add his own Trey Lance spin to it to endear himself to the group, of course he is. Of course he is. He's that type of character, person, and just leader, worker. Keep in mind, this was a redshirt freshman who won a national championship at 19. He's got those types of traits. I'm not worried about that. I think he's doing his thing. I think he's going to be just fine. I don't think the locker room is worried about following Trey Lance. I really don't. I really don't. If Jimmy stays, and I said if, so don't come at me, Cutback crew. Will the Shannon plan be a thing, says Megan? No, I don't think so. Ant and I thought this was a thing just because Kyle said it was, and usually when Kyle says something, it's not a thing. Right? And then we also saw week 1, he actually did it. They got into the red zone and Trey Lance went in and scored. And Ant and I were sitting there going, oh, it's coming. Here's the Shannon plan. It's here. We're doing this. It's happening. It's happening. Oh my God, it's happening. All right? The Michael Scott meme. So I just think it threw him off. And he talked about getting different looks, and he talked about how teams were changing packages and changing what they were showing, and it was throwing him out of rhythm because he's seeing things and prepping, right? He's setting up his board a specific way on the chessboard with Jimmy, and then he throws Trey in because he feels like he's moving pieces around his board, and then it's like a completely reset of the board, and the team does something else instead. So you're seeing all of these things and preparing yourself and laying the foundation and breadwork to call yourself a wonderful offensive game plan. And you put a new guy in at quarterback, and a team completely flips what they're doing, and you're sitting there going, okay, well now everything I was planning on doing goes out the window. I wasn't expecting to see that. Now, whole offseason, maybe Trey listens, or maybe Kyle watches the film and is like, I see what teams are doing, and maybe he comes up with a different way to employ the Shannon plan. Maybe, but until I see it, there's no way to know for sure. No way to know for sure. But listen to you guys for about a month or so. Just never commented. Love your style. Don't take anything too serious. Open other people's views. Mike's daddy. That's wonderful to hear, man. I'm glad that you've been around for that long, and I'm glad that you're in the chat now. That's awesome, man. So thank you for listening as long as you have. Thank you for being here and continually coming back. I'm glad to hear that. We like growing this community, and we like being able to interact with more and more of you guys. So this is good. And I'm glad you decided to hop in tonight, man. Thank you. Seattle Dub 6, cool. Eavesdropping on the enemy, he says. Hey, Seattle Dub 6, make sure you come back around when we do Quest for the West, man, with Sam from the He's on Fire podcast. Seattle guy. Love to hear what you have to say on Quest for the West when we do those. Started next season. And we're gonna do some Quest for the West stuff too as well, in terms of some draft stuff as well. So we're gonna do that. Bomber says I'm gonna join. Hey Alex, it would be awesome if you guys did call-ins with Patreon members. Oh, but Bomber, we do. Patreon, we do the live show. We do the live show with you guys. You guys are on talking with the channel members here on YouTube. So next time we do a Zoom hangout over on Patreon, make sure you hop in over there. Every time we do the Zoom hangouts, and that's going to be coming up actually probably here in the next few weeks. Join those Zoom hangouts because you guys are on YouTube. You guys are talking to the channel members on YouTube, so everyone gets to kind of get to know you guys a little bit better, and we get to ask you guys some questions. Will Smith with the quickness. I ain't that quick no more. I'm not that quick, David. I'm really not. Nobody does it like the Cutback crew, top tier. Thank you, Monica. We try. We do. Jump in the water. Sounds good, brethren. Glad to hear that, Seattle. Look at that. NFC West rivals coming together, connecting for wonderful times here. Like, share, subscribe, and join, says Gary, and he is not wrong. And don't forget the merch. You can't forget the merch. You can't forget the merch. You want to rep the Cutback crew. You want to rep it everywhere. You want to buy all of the stuff. The shirts, the sweatshirts, the tank tops, the coffee cups, all of it. Just go buy all of it. It helps the channel. I can't chill and sell myself up that much. You would be a fire collab with Rombo, another great Niners channel. Hey, we love Rombo around here. We love Rombo. We've rated him a couple times after streams. Now, granted, it was when we had like 500 subs, so no, it was not the same. That was a little while ago. But man, love Rombo. He's been doing it. He's been killing it for a long time. Rick Dowdy, always enjoy the cutback. Thank you. No, thank you. All of you, for real. I cannot thank you enough. All the support you show on this channel, how much we've grown in the last year has been absolutely nuts. And all the success we're having is thanks to you. If it wasn't for you guys, if it wasn't for the way you guys interact, the questions you ask, tuning out for videos, showing out for videos, liking videos, sharing it on your socials. If it wasn't for you, legitimately, like we wouldn't be enjoying this as much as we are. We're able to interact with all of you. You guys are fantastic. The guys and gals, all of you are fantastic. The questions you ask, your knowledge, your passion for this team, man, gives us life. We love talking with all of you. We enjoy doing this, and we're going to keep on keeping on. We're going to keep bringing you this content. We're going to keep evolving the channel. We're going to keep growing this channel and expanding this channel as much and as best as we can. And we're excited. We're excited about all the draft content that we got coming out this upcoming week. We're excited for all the draft content we're going to be doing, all the potential collabs we're going to be doing as well next upcoming weeks leading up to the draft day. We're excited for the NFL draft and everything that's going to come after it. Because if you've been excited about what we've been doing with the breaking news, you're going to be even more ecstatic and juiced about what we do for draft content and everything that's going to come after the draft. My goodness gracious almighty, you guys are going to be sitting there going, how in the world do y'all have time for this? And you know what? You just find a way to make time. When you're doing something that you love to do with people who enjoy what you do and are as supportive as you all are, like, there isn't any other place we want to be. The Cutback crew, thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate the conversation. Appreciate the talk. It was fun. Fun talking about the Debo rumors. Fun talking about the Trey rumors about tomorrow. And I'll post that in the the community section. I'm gonna post it in the community section. That way you all can go click over and try and find it tomorrow if something actually does drop. So this is going to be a very interesting week. It's going to be an interesting month leading up to the draft. We're all excited. This dude is just too likable. I wonder if he ever got pissed off at someone. Oh, I always do. You just haven't got to see it yet, Mike. You haven't got to see it yet, Mike's daddy. I get upset. I get upset. Maybe I'll link to I won't link to it. On another topic, Will Smith will never be in another action movie, says Ralph. All right, I gotta go. Cutback girl. I'm gonna sign off for the night. I gotta go figure out what the heck Will Smith did tonight, because apparently it was absolutely glorious, and I missed it. And I don't want to be coming onto Twitter tomorrow not being aware of high quality memes. I have to be aware of high quality memes. So if you're on Discord, make sure you drop some high quality Will Smith memes in the chat, so that way after I figure out what the heck Will Smith did, I can have a good laugh with all of you. That's what I want. I want to figure that out. Cutback crew, though, appreciate the talk, appreciate the time. I'll catch you on the next one. And Ant, we'll catch you soon as well. And until then, stay safe. And remember, the right way is always the 49ers way. Even for you, Dub 6 Seattle. Even for you, it's the 49ers way. It's always...